So Sri Sampradaya means devotion to personal God, who is nothing but Sriman Narayana. If you see the image here, Ramanujacharya here, and Sri Mahavishnu, and Sri Mahavishnu also having Sri Mahalakshmi as inside. I mean, it's a kind of a unification, and these 12 alvars. So he formalized Sri Sampradaya, that is devotion to personal God, that is nothing but Sriman Narayana. How we will discuss. I mean here formalized that he doesn't started, he didn't create a new stuff. It is just a formalification. It means it is already established, it already existing. But he formalized, he made it available to everyone everywhere. And Sriman Ramanujacharya had given Upadesha of Om Namo Narayana mantra, which has been kept secret for thousands of years, at an open place freely to everyone, despite that he is going to be caused by his guru to go to hell. So, and if you might be knowing the story, and even he said that if thousands of people go to Vaikunta, he is ready to go to hell for the sake of benefit of others. Such a compassionate guru and preached equality and contributed tremendously for the opening of temples to all, irrespective of caste and creed. So, to explain this, the concept of bhakti and integration of bhakti to temples and opening of temples to everyone, that giving an access of temple to everyone, irrespective of caste and creed, whether lower births and higher births, he never differentiated. He treated everyone as a form of or incarnation of Sri Mahavishnu and saw God in everyone. And he opened temples to everyone. He brought the concept of temple worship, to be precise. Okay, Sriman Ramanuja is not just a philosopher, but he is a poet, social reformer. He is a great commentator, means Bhashakarlu. He wrote commentaries for many Vedantic and Upanishads. And he is a temple builder, management expert. He managed Sri Lankan temple, and he is also a teacher and a student. He is a great compassionate guru who focused on integration, that is equality of everyone, integration of different elements of a society, and that's why he and his teachings are so much relevant today. And we need to understand the Sri Vaishnava tradition that he has propagated and Visishtadvaita philosophy. So, what is Sri Vaishnava tradition? Sri Vaishnava tradition has been given a formal expression by Yamunacharya, who was the teacher of Sriman Ramanuja. If you see, Sri Ramanujacharya lived when he lived in the 11th century. The rulers were Cholas in the Tamil and also parts of Andhra Pradesh. And at that time, the Mahabharata was written in Telugu by Nannaya, and in Karnataka it was being ruled by the Hoysalas. So this is the political and literary phase when Ramanujacharya was living. So you can relate when you are reading Cholas and Hoysalas and writing of other literary phases. So who were ruling at that time, like Mahabharata in Andhra Pradesh and the Chalukyas, who are also ruling in the northern Karnataka place. You can see Ramanujacharya was living at that period in Tamil Nadu. So what is Sri Vaishnava tradition? Sri means Lakshmi and Vaishnava means Vishnu. Okay, so it is an integration of Lakshmi and Vishnu. It's like Samayachara philosophy of Sri Adi Sankaracharya. Means Samayachara means worshipping both Lakshmi and Vishnu, Parvati and Shiva, and Brahma and Saraswati. Okay, not just one god. And at that time, the philosophical traditions existing at Tamil Nadu and other parts of India are Vaishnavism, which is like impersonification of God, that is, which requires an intermediary, and Smarta tradition, and Buddhism and Jainism. So he widely debated with all these philosophers and established Sri Vaishnavism and brought the concept of bhakti, that is, personal devotion of God to attain moksha through chanting of the name or japa of the name or japa of mantra Om Namo Narayana. This is the underlying philosophical context and the social spiritual context of Sri Ramanujacharya. And Advaita Vedanta, before Sri Ramanujacharya propagated Visishta Advaita, and why he has to propagate the concept of Visishta Advaita. The concept is Advaita Vedanta was misused by many. In many uh, other institutes and other material also, it was being mentioned that he brought Visishta Advaita as a contrary, or he never accepted Advaita philosophy, and he said Advaita philosophy was false and like that. No, there is nothing like that. He also supported Advaita philosophy, but Advaita philosophy was one of the top pinnacle philosophies. It is the ultimate philosophy, but it was being misused by many scholars at the time. They tried to get benefits in an irrespectable manner, in a non-dharmic manner. So, and it is being confused by many, and nobody is getting benefit out of it. So there was a lot of uh, ajnanam or avidya, and most of it is being misused in a very in a most we can't even explain that. So this concept of Advaita philosophy or Vedanta is being misused by many, and nobody has a better knowledge of it. So in order to make this Advaita philosophy easier manner to understand, and there are also stages, preliminary stages, where one has to attain, one has to understand in order to understand the Advaita philosophy. So he brought the concept of, that is Sri Ramanujacharya brought the concept of Visishta Advaita. It means he never opposed Advaita, but he brought the concept of Visishta Advaita, means personal God is there, who is Sriman Narayana, and it is a concept that is being mentioned more in Sri Vaishnavism. So what is he saying in Visishta Advaita means you, the Atma or the soul within you, is nothing but Sri Mahavishnu, means it is Nirguna Brahman. It is Nirguna means no gunas, means there is no attributes like hands, color, what are the color that you say to Krishna, black or kala, neelai, or so white. Sri Mahalakshmi is in white color. So so all these colors, they are not being mentioned. So all these kind of gunas doesn't exist to God. That is Nirguna Brahma. Your soul belongs to Nirguna Brahma. But as you have been born on this earth in the form of a human being, you have a body, you have a soul and a body. But whatever the karma you do, you have to attribute that, you have to offer that as a kind of worship to God. That is what Visishta Advaita. You might be confused. That is, you are nothing but God. Means the soul is belongs to God, but you have a body which is a belonging to this earth. You won't take it to heaven, or you won't take it to Vaikuntha or Kailasa, anywhere. It belongs to earth. That is what the concept. You have two things. That is body and soul. That soul belongs to Nirguna Chaitanya. Whatever the energy and the thought process, anything existing in your body uh, is all a part and parcel of Nirguna Brahman, that is the ultimate reality, or Sri Mahavishnu. So, whatever the energy that is Atma in your body is Sri Mahavishnu. But as you also have a body, you have to karma, that action, whatever you do, you have to offer to the God. So, you won't get attached to the karma or papa or punya, that is sin or any kind of a good deed. So in this way, you will attain moksha. This is the philosophy. What is the goal of any philosophy? To attain moksha or to unite with the God. But in order to attain that, you need to have some kind of a knowledge of what you do, what you should do, and how to do that. So in this philosophy is, you have a soul, but that soul belongs to God, but you have a body. That body is meant for doing karma and action, and that action you offer to Vishnu, irrespective of expecting anything in return. So your karmas and your sins will get burned, and you will attain moksha. This is the concept. But coming to Sankaracharya, he said Advaita philosophy means there is no two. Advaita means there is no two. What exists is only one thing, that is you and God are same. But there are so much of explanation being present in the Sankaracharyas, however, that is not being explained by other scholars, but they have misused it for their own benefit. So Srivan Ramanujacharya brought the concept of Visishta Advaita means you have two elements. One is soul and body. That soul belongs to Nirguna Brahman, that is Sri Mahavishnu, and your body, which belongs to the earth element, which is made up of Panchabhutas. You got this body because of the past actions, because of the karma in your earlier life. What you are today is because of what you have done in the past, either in your last past life or in your past time. Okay, so in order to nullify your sins and to attain moksha, you have to offer karma through your body. So attain everything, whatever you do, the karma to Nirguna Brahma, that is the Atma. You don't need to go to temple, you can go to temple, but it doesn't mean that God only exists in temple. He lies inside of you. This is the whole concept. Visishta Advaita means you have a soul and a body. That soul belongs to Nirguna Brahman, and you have body and Chaitanya within you. And whatever the action you do, attain that, offer that to this Brahma. That's it. So you will attain moksha because all your sins will be borne and you will receive what is needed to attain moksha. That is enough. So, but and next coming forward for the prelims concept, this Visishtatvaita is not a new thing. It is already being explained in a formal expression by Natha Muni in 10th century, and it was being propagated more by the Yamunacharya, who was a teacher of Sri Ramanujacharya. Okay, and Visishta Advaita has been divided into two philosophies in the 18th century or 16th century, in between the period between 16th to 18th century, and it is called Vadakalai and Tenkalai. Vadakalai is they gave more importance or the first preference to Vedas. That is, they will follow the principles being mentioned in the Vedas. Vedas means rituals and practices. Rituals and practices and homa and all. And Tenkalai means Divya Prabandham. They give more importance to bhakti and chanting of slokas and stotras, and they use performance of homa and yagna to as a secondary aspect. Okay, this is the thing.